Hey friends, welcome to this bonus episode of I'm Not Gonna Lie. I recorded this because I wanted to talk about what's happening right now in our country and how we can show up without shutting down, without turning off our empathy, and without letting the news hijack our emotional well being. There's no way to talk about this without acknowledging the recent killings of innocent civilians in Minnesota by federal agents, including the deaths of people who were unarmed. This has sparked outrage, grief, and fear for so many across our communities. The violence of these incidents is unacceptable, and it matters that we say that out loud. These were unjustifiable deaths that deserve accountability and justice. At the same time, I also want to talk about how we stay informed and active without collapsing under the weight of every headline. First, I want to be clear we should pay attention to what's happening politically on a local level, a state level, and on a national level. Democracy only works when people are informed, engaged, and willing to hold leaders accountable. People deserve to live with safety and dignity. Families deserve justice. Communities deserve peace. And these are things that we've been talking about for centuries and years because, this isn't new. What we're seeing is not new. This is history repeating itself. The blatant lying to our faces, even though we've all seen the same thing, this stuff isn't new. What we're also seeing is a reminder that politics matter. And the excuse of, I don't know politics, I don't understand it, I only vote how my family votes, or I'm a Christian. So, like, all of that stuff is very basic level excuses, and it's no longer going to work because everyone's being affected. And politics is also from local sheriffs to these federal policies. And as we can see, it's affecting real human lives. So that means that we have to pay attention. If you're not, you have to pay attention. You have to care. You have to speak up. But part of showing up also means looking critically at our own communities, friends, and family members, and sometimes even confronting those closest to us when necessary. When people go into voting or public discourse with the strategy that harms others, that should be part of the conversation. Understanding why people make certain choices and how those choices affect real lives. I believe that helps us grow and be more intentional together. I am a huge believer of also holding people accountable. I feel like this last election, a lot of people knew the risk that were up and for some odd reason did not care, looked the other way, cared less. We need to hold those people accountable. We were told time after time this was going to happen. We don't have to shout it from every rooftop, but let's not act like nothing is happening either. So here's the part that's important for your well being. You can be aware of what's happening without carrying every emotion in your body. I've learned this the hard way. For years, I used to scroll for hours, rewatch clips, stay in the comment section, let headlines follow me into my sleep and, my personal life. And it really fractured my peace. But what I realized is that you can stay informed without letting every news cycle live inside your nervous system. This is about emotional regulation, not emotional avoidance. So, I have a few little tips that I wanted to share with you guys that I saw worked for me. And I just wanted to share because that's what we do here. We share tips and inspirations to help us. Okay. So, one, I choose intentional intake. That means I get my news from trusted sources, not endless feeds, and I also set time limits. Two, I absorb facts, not emotional hijacks. There's a difference between knowing what happened and feeling like your entire body is reliving it. So I try not to watch these videos because I feel like That's how I protect my sacred space, which is my mind and my body. There's no need for me to see that, honestly. So I try not to watch it. Like, I believe that helps me not have emotional hijacks. I don't need to see that stuff. I also don't need to watch every news clip that are saying the same thing. Three, I check in with myself emotionally. So before I read anything heavy, before I listen to an interview or watch a news press, whatever the case may be, I ask myself, am I centered right now? Or am I just fueling my anxiety? If I feel like I'm already too hot and heated about it, there's no need for me to be on social media looking at it. There's no need for me to be watching any type of news conference. I can just simply put my phone down, shut the laptop, and I'll go outside for a walk. I'll drink tea or I'll play frequency music. And then once I feel like I'm regulated and I feel like I am centered, I can go back to reading a news article or, seeing a press conference from also a trusted source and whatever that is for you. Four, I take real breaks. Okay. Kind of goes with number three. I will turn off everything, stop scrolling. I'm not checking, I'm not absorbing anything. I also don't want to think about it because I am a very emotional, sensitive being. I tend to really feel people's hurt and their emotions, even people I've never met before. And it's just this crazy gift that I guess I have. But at the same time, it is very consuming to take on that emotion and absorb that. So by just really checking out and taking a day or two to just be present with whatever it is that's going on. And also realizing that I'm not ignoring what's happening by taking a break, but I realize that I'm actually taking care of myself first and, my family, the household. As a mom and a wife, when I absorb too much or if I'm too emotional about something, that energy tends to kind of spill out into the house. And I've worked really hard on separating those things. I have a 4-year-old, and even though we did live in the United States and we moved away for some of these issues, these very issues, um, I still feel I still have to raise him. I still have to also be a very a present wife, a present mom, but I care. I care about the injustice that's happening. And I feel like I'm rambling, but if you understand what I'm saying, then yeah, I take real breaks because I don't want it to spill out into my space and the energy of my home and my family. And that works for me. It doesn't mean that I don't care. It just means that it's a strategy that helps me not carry on every emotion and keep my nervous system balanced. Because if your nervous system is flooded all day, all week, all month, you can't think clearly, you can't act intentionally or show up with compassion. You get shut down, angry, and that's not what the world needs from you. That's not what your family and friends need from you. That's not what you need from you. You need to remain steady and regulated and balanced. Let's be real. The news, it sucks. Everything that's happening, it sucks. It hurts. It hits you in the stomach. It's pulling at your heart. That's pain. And it's valid. It also means that we are human and we're not these detached, hateful, divisive people that I believe society and the news try to put out there. A lot of people are hurting over this. A lot of people are in pain. And like I said, this isn't new. People have felt this for years, for generations. I know I have. But grief over loss, injustice, the feeling that life should be safer than this, that's all real. You can feel that and take care of your emotional well being. You don't have to numb yourself, you don't have to collapse, you don't have to be okay, but you can be grounded. Because the truth is, a regulated nervous system is more powerful than an overwhelmed one. It's okay to acknowledge grief and pain and to really feel for what's going on. It's also okay to just take a moment to step away and be present with your own space, your family, your friends, etc., etc. So here's some things that we can do. I did look up a few ways, and if you want more information, you can always DM me over on Instagram. All of that information is down below in the description. Things that you can do: calling or texting your local representatives, okay? Signing petitions, voicing your values respectfully, talking to people you love with clarity instead of confrontation, and supporting organizations doing real work on the ground. Okay? Engagement isn't just noise, it's action with intention. And sometimes it means having hard conversations with people we care about, not to shame, but to reflect on our shared responsibility to each other as citizens and human beings. Okay. Also, protect your peace. If you know you cannot talk to certain people, they're stuck in their waves, they're just the problem, that's okay. Sometimes people are just the problem. Okay. They're just the problem. And it doesn't matter what you say. You could be black and blue. Jesus could come down and tell them that this is wrong, and they would still somehow try to justify. Save your time, save your energy. Don't even care. I do want to just say this too, because I've been seeing this a lot. For the people who, for years, I'm talking like for years, have voted a certain way, okay? Or let's just keep it a buck. Voted for this man for 45 for years, supported him, went to his rallies and stuff. I honestly feel like you guys can't be quiet. Don't turn the other way. This is your doing too, as well. You were just as responsible. So just copying and pasting a post about, I'm not this, I'm not that, and Jesus is the way. Well, guess what? That's not enough. Jesus was the way all the time, and you still voted for him, you still supported him. This did not happen overnight. This is years and years of hate and chaos and division between good and evil. So maybe just holding yourself accountable publicly, perhaps, just like you publicly supported him. Publicly hold yourself accountable, do better instead of just saying, I'm whatever. I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, just holding yourself accountable because you knew better. We all knew better. Before we close, I wanted to take a moment to just do a little pause and reflection. So if you are able to do this, let's do it. If not, you can come back and do it when you have a moment. Okay, so let's inhale and exhale slowly. You don't have to absorb every tragedy. You don't have to take on every pain. You don't have to broadcast your every feeling, but you can stay aware, you can care, you can act without losing the ability to breathe. This world needs your clarity more than your collapse and your anger. Thank you for listening to this bonus episode. Thank you for caring, even when it hurts. Thank you for being willing to learn how to stand in awareness without drowning in it. If this episode helped you regulate just a little bit, breathe a little deeper, or reflect with more intention, that's exactly why I made it. Take care of yourself, take care of your community, and show up with love. I'll be here next week for our full episode. Thank you for listening. Share this episode with family and friends. If you like, it's a free way to support. It's a free way to also help inspire other people. And I'd really appreciate that. Until next time, you guys.